Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How are y'all doing? Morning, Charlie, Max, Benton, Sharif. Yeah, it looks like there's no Chris. No Chris here today. He got beat on the number one spot there, so he didn't show up. All right, let's see here. Yeah, morning, Abel. In case y'all didn't see, I am going to be giving away a free Apex evaluation, one a day for the next 5 streams. So I'll post a link here in that for a little bit. Hey, David, good morning. What's up? Mary, good morning. Tyler, Enrico. All right, so yeah, we have a big opening range gap here. Huge. Already had the bottom marked out. Just needed to see where we were going to open. So we opened up right here. Mark that as my high. Trading View's been a little slow, a little laggy today for me this morning. Let's see. What is... That's right at that data high. Let me remove that for a second. 508.50. Middle of the opening range gap right there. Mark that out. All right, so here is kind of what I'm looking at. Okay, so if we start at the daily chart here, CPI day, right? So we got to be aware of that. We don't need any, if the market's crazy or, you know, we just got to be careful. Let's see. Let me double check. We have 1030 oil inventories. Nothing really should happen on that, but yeah. Okay, I was just double checking, make sure we don't have anything else coming up. Morning, Steve. So we dipped down into the fair value gap, the daily fair value gap yesterday. We had these old opening range gap down here as well, which we hit the middle of it. We still haven't closed it. We hit the middle of it. And you see we have this volume imbalance right here. Oh, my stuff got a little mixed up. Don't know why that got that way. Oh, I know why. Because I marked the entire thing. Yeah, so we have the volume imbalance right here, but there's also a fair value gap. So I just marked the whole thing. And so we dipped down into this daily fair value gap here. Couldn't close below the middle of it. Reached back up. Yesterday's high. So I'm just kind of watching, see where we go from there. But then if I drop down to the 15-minute chart here, and I'm looking, so this is kind of what I'm looking at. Yesterday, we have these highs. So we're pretty much, it's delivering pretty well. We made this all-time high. Then we pulled back up here. Yesterday, we broke this, I guess, market structure in a sense with taking this high, reached all the way up into this 15-minute fair value gap, and just dropped. So now we're taking this high, and all these highs, I mean, there's not really, I'm not seeing really areas of equal highs at the moment because we just have these reach ups and drops, right? So, and then fair value gaps that's leaving behind. So right now, same thing here. We reached up, dropped, and left this fair value gap, but I left it as an inversion because we traded right through it. Like we didn't even, when we came back up in it here, we didn't even really do much other than just trade through it. And, you know, that's, of course, CPI, right? But when we ran up, we also left this volume imbalance here, big volume imbalance, and a new 15-minute fair value gap here. So I would not be surprised if price reached up through this high, reached up through this high, and maybe hit this area, last week's high, somewhere in this area, and then come back down. And I want to see if it, let's see, we left another fair value gap right here. at this 915 bar. So I would not be surprised if price pretty much reached back down into some of this area before ultimately trying to trade up, which if we look at the daily chart, I mean, if it, like, what's there to stop it, right? What's there to stop it from keep going up and making new highs and making new all-time highs? Not much. So if it does keep reaching up, I'd be looking at this wick, the midpoint of this wick, and seeing if price stops around the middle and drops, or if it makes a new high. So just kind of watching. We're getting close to the end of the year, right? There's only a few more weeks. We know there's usually a Santa rally. We're near all-time highs. So these last few weeks, I'm just going to be pretty cautious with my trading. You know, if I see what I see, I'm going to take it, but can't force anything, right? And then if we look at the downside, so there's not really, so that's what I have like to the long side. If I'm looking to the downside, and if you zoom in here, right, we had a lot of accumulation going on, but if you look, it pretty much, like here, reached all the way down. And then we had this little low, kind of relatively equal lows here, but this wick took that out. And then reached up, and then right here is kind of where I'm seeing some smoothness, relatively equal lows. So that's kind of like my sell side liquidity area, but it's not really, you know, I'm not expecting price to just run down there right away. So it's going to be a waiting game today. Definitely a waiting game. Let's see. Yeah, my trading view is just, when I mark things or do anything, it's just a little slow. And then on the 5 minute, if we look at the 5 minute here, it's a little more smooth. So we'll see if it comes back down. Eventually, I don't know if it comes back down in my hour of trading, but it's running up. So let's just see where price draws to at the moment. That's pretty much what I wait for. Just see where price draws to. Does it reach an area that it could stop at? Do I get an obvious displacement, obvious market structure shift? And do I have a target? $634 to $649. Yeah, we have the new week opening gap up there. Right up here. It's our new week opening gap, 34 to 48 there. And if I look here, there's that big fair value gap from the 15 minute right in that area. So it might pop right up here and then drop. We'll see. So today also, just like the other day, I wasn't fully convinced. So like some days when I frame out my morning, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm definitely aiming for down here. I'm waiting for price to you know, run to this point, drop here, whatever. Like, it's very convincing. But other mornings, there's a lot going on, and it might not be very convincing. So then you just got to wait, see where price draws to, because right now we opened, right? We opened and just kind of popped up, and see where we draw to. I love, if you've been on my stream or been around me much, you know I love volume imbalances for targets. So that big volume imbalance down here, if we end up getting a short, I love that as a target. But, you know, we do have a couple fresh 15-minute fair value gaps in the way. So you have to be aware of that. And right now, and when my chart looks messy like this, that's kind of another indicator of like, hey, there's a lot going on. Just kind of have to wait. So So let's see. Let's see where we draw to. I think everything's up. Yeah. ES, YM. Well, YM's always kind of weird. The YM wants to push down. How's everybody doing? Did y'all trade yesterday? So I didn't stream. I didn't trade in the morning. I didn't stream yesterday. So I ended up taking a trade that I stayed in, just kind of almost a swing trade on my live account only. My live account. I didn't take it in my PAs. Just in my personal live account. And it was this. I traded the 15-minute. Took it from here right down to, what was my target? 438. I had some sell side liquidity. Yeah, right at this, right at the top of this fair value gap for the daily chart. So it was a nice trade. It was almost 100 points. Small win yesterday. Yeah, I don't. So the day before CPI and the day before NFP, man, I just don't care for them. Let's see. 1 second here. Okay, so this right here is where you can enter to get the free evaluation for today. Let me know if y'all hit that link. Let me know if everything works. like putting in your email and name. There we go. Pin that message there. It works. Cool. Yeah. So just whoever enters in today, I'll have a drawing. A little random drawing. Okay. Oops. All right. If price, so this was here, let me mark out my, here's that 830 bar. So let's mark this out as a, hey, Chris made it. Look at that. Slacker. That's what he would call me. So hey, everybody beat him today. Let's see. What am I looking for? Oh yeah, I'm looking for the data. I don't think I have that set. Yeah, I don't have a preset for that. So we'll just go, what's today? 12/11. Data low. That's going to be our low for the CPI. Then we'll go data high for the high of that bar. Yeah, you thought wrong, buddy. Streaming today. This I meant to put yesterday's high right here, I believe. Yeah, that's yesterday's high. Let me just glance at the 4 hour here. Inverting this fair value gap. We had this one. So yeah, we're just reaching up through everything. At this point, we're taking this high And now it started looking at that wick that I mentioned on the daily chart. So I'm going to throw the fib on it. And see how high up we go on that wick. Let me glance at the 1 hour here. Do you have a nice fair value gap right here on the 1 hour as well? Let me mark it out to see where the middle of it is. Today might, we'll see. We'll see what it looks like today. The middle, we're coming close to the middle of this 1 hour gap. And we hit it. So I'm going to remove it because I don't need all that on my chart. Right here, the middle of this 15-minute one. See if we hit that. And then we have last week's high. And then right here, this purple line is the middle of that daily wick. So we'll see how high up we go on that. Typically, when price just runs like this out of the gate and it just goes up, 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 and I don't have a real target, then I just have to wait. Like, literally, I have to wait for it to pull back. Yeah, actually, we already had a fair value gap, the first fair value gap of the morning. We got the 930 bar right here, and then we have this fair value gap right here for our first presented fair value gap right there. Hello, John. Welcome. Welcome in. Yeah, I switched my streaming to the OBS studio for today. The program itself is a lot smoother. I like it better than I was using Streamlabs before, if you know anything about all that. But I'm just hoping it doesn't bog down my computer at all. And with the little bit of delay I'm getting on TradingView, I'm like, I don't know if it's why it's not as crystal clear. It makes, yeah, see, that was my worry, is that it's slowing down a little bit. So yeah, I may have to switch back to Streamlabs for tomorrow. All right, so we're hitting the middle of that wick. John, may I ask what you mean by first presented fair value gap? So yeah, the first, I'm looking for the first fair value gap after the 930 bar. And that kind of sets where the market may go for the day. So here's the 930 bar. And then after that, this 930 bar, I'm looking for the first fair value gap, which would be right here. And if you don't know what a fair value gap is, that's where you learning ICT concepts comes in. That's basically, it takes 3 bars and there's a gap between the middle. And yeah, I'm looking for the 1 minute because that's where I'm trading. I take my trades from is the 1 minute chart. And my bias comes from the 15-minute mainly. And then the 1 minute chart is where I'm looking at the first presented fair value gap. And pulls down into it. And then basically, so if I'm looking for a short, the best looking short would be below the first presented fair value gap. If I'm looking for a long, the best is usually above. That's just kind of like a rule of thumb. It's not a set thing though. Do you go for no? I look for I'm only looking for 1 minute entries. I used to, when I first started learning the 2022 mentorship model, I was going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's why I have the time frames kind of saved up here. But now I'm pretty much just looking at the 5 minute and the 1 minute. I'm sorry, the 15 minute and 1 minute. I'll look at the 5 minute too because I have that on another chart. But mainly I'm getting my bias and targets from the 15 minute and then dropping down the 1 minute for entries. Hey, Max, at least it hit your stop while it was in the profit. Yeah, so here we are. We may just rebalance this. Here's all-time high right up here. And it's typically, if y'all haven't noticed, when we break all-time high, it typically keeps going higher. Like, everybody likes to, or not everybody, a lot of people like to try to short all-time high. Like, as it goes all-time high, like, you know, you see a lot of, I would always see a lot of people saying, well, how much further? It can't go that much further. So they start trying to short it. It just keeps going and going and going. So we'll see if we take all-time high. Let's jump back up to the 15 minute here. Yeah, we're just rebalancing all this. Just this run up here. So this is where also, like, I learned ICT concepts from the 2022 mentorship mainly, right? But I don't necessarily trade it exactly the way it's taught to trade it as far as entries. I guess my setup is the way it's taught, but I don't trade it exactly, the model exactly, I guess you could say, because like price is running up and we know it has to eventually do a pullback, right? And like price doesn't just stay going up all up bars. We know it pulls back. So I'll look for a short on a pullback, but I know my expectation, and that's why I go for low hanging fruit targets, because I know it's not going to just pull back and just run forever down, right? So it's like I look for target as it's going up, and it leaves like here it left this 15 minute fair value gap. Okay, well this is inverted, but if it starts pulling back, well, where's it going to pull back to? Most likely the 15 minute fair value gap. So that's when I drop down to my 1 minute time frame and look. All right, on the 1 minute, because that's an indicator, right? How do you know it's going to pull back to that 15 minute fair value gap? Well, by breaking the market structure or shifting the market structure on the 1 minute first. It has to do that before it can go. So it has to break structure. Then I need the displacement, and that's where the setup comes in. But I will take a trade on pullbacks on the higher time frame, or if it's just going to where I want it to go. But yeah, so we're going to trade all the way up through all-time high. It looks like this thing is just going to go. Let me change this out to an inversion. And I do hate when my chart is as messy as it is right now. But see, like, I know normally I wipe my charts clean after I'm done trading so I can start over the next day and reanalyze, put everything back up there. But like, for example, this big volume amount I have right here on the 15-minute chart, I more than likely will lock this, because tomorrow, if we don't come back down through this is going to be a target eventually for me right here. I guarantee it, unless if when I trade, it's already been traded through. Otherwise, I want to see this trade through here, and I want to be in a trade coming back down through it. Like, that would be very nice for me. But see, we have this inversion, this big inversion where we traded straight through. This one is trading straight through. This one's straight through. So eventually, we're going to have to pull back somewhere. And that's where you got to be careful. Because if you're shorting as it gets close to all-time high, or as it passes all-time high, you just got to be, the displacement on the 1 minute has to be extremely obvious, because you just can't get caught in a deeper retracement. So sometimes, and what I mean by that is if I go to the 1 minute chart, right? Sometimes, because you can get too caught up in, oh, it took this little swing low. right? Or it took this swing low, but it might just be a deeper pullback and continue. So like if it's doing this, right? And then you have something like this, and then it comes down here, you might say, oh, it took this swing. It's a market structure shift. Well, it might not be. It just might be a little bit deeper of a pullback for it to continue up. So that's where you got to be careful, and that's where you need the displacement, like the big time displacement, obvious displacement. Because if it just pulls back a little further, it could just be a deeper retracement. It needs to like be an obvious displacement for me. If like we're up here near all-time high or at all-time high. So, oops, get rid of this. Oh my gosh. All these things. Okay, there we go. So we have 3 minutes until we get another fair value gap here. Yeah, John, that's the one I pointed out a little bit ago right here. It pretty much overlaps with this 15-minute. And then since we took the middle of that 1 hour fair value gap, we traded through the middle of it. So I took that one out. And then, yeah, we'll be leaving a new one here. So if you're really looking at higher time frame as bias, this is where you have a market structure shift, right? Traded through it with displacement, clear, obvious displacement, leaving a fair value gap right here. So it's likely to take these highs and come back eventually down into this area. And that's where you want to see if it inverts it and continues short, or if it holds and continues up. That's high time frame. But see, that's why I don't use the 1 hour and 4 hour that much for my bias, even though I know that's where you want to get your daily bias or your overall bias. And even look at the daily chart. I use it mainly for levels because I'm only trading 1 hour in the morning. And that's why I also don't have to trade the direction of the higher time frame bias. So if we're bullish on the 1 hour, 4 hour daily, I don't have to just be bullish on my trade. I'm trading 35 to 50 point trades. Like I can get that on a pullback if I need to. So that's why I look at the 15-minute for my bias and then the 1 minute for my entry. And if it lines up with the higher time frame bias, then great. No worries, Max. Hey, as long as you make sure that you did fill out that form, though, to get that in the drawing that we're going to do here in a little while. In case for those of you that weren't on when I posted, I pinned the link there. So put your email in. I'll do the drawing to this morning on the live stream for a free Apex evaluation. And I'll do one a day for the next 5 days, well, including today. No, I don't use tick strike at all. And actually, I never really liked tick strike, to be honest. I liked it, but I didn't like it. It confused me. And what I mean by that, not confused me, like I know how it works. But the issue is if I'm reading something and then all of a sudden tick strike lights up the opposite way, like it just like messed up my bias a lot. And then it might go the way I was thinking, right? But it was like if I was thinking short, I'm looking for a short, it looks like it's going to go short. All of a sudden, tick strike lights up green, and it just does a little pull up green, and I'm like, oh, wait, maybe it is. Maybe I'm going to be wrong here. And then it goes down. I'm like, golly. It just messed up my bias. And then, like, I don't know. When I'm trading, I can't have music. And I don't know. I get distracted. Like if I have music or anything intense, it speeds me up. So tick strike all of a sudden just lighting up green and just going, it just, I don't know, made me nervous for no reason. Yeah, that's good if you're trying to stay in a trade. Definitely helps. I can see it helping there. But see, like, I with simplicity with Apex, that's where I could definitely see it like that. That's where it was pretty useful because if you are saying a short and tick strike keeps lighting up red, and I mean you just feel that much more confident to hold it. All right, 10:01. Let's see if anything happens. To be honest, I'm not expecting a lot, unfortunately. So hey, at least I'm giving away some evals here. Otherwise, there might not be much happening over the next few days or even, let's see. Let me pull up the calendar. We have, oh man, next week is the last week before Christmas week. And Christmas week, I probably won't be trading. Actually, next week might be the last week that I trade for the rest of the year. Actually, it will be. Because I wish I could pull my calendar over. See if this calendar, I guess it doesn't detach. Well, can't pull my calendar over. But anyways, yeah, next week is the last week we have. And then the following week is Christmas week. Then, of course, we have the end of the year, the new year, and all that. Yeah. This week's going to be my last week I trade. Or I'm sorry, next week's my last week I trade until the new year. Which I haven't taken any payouts this month. Like I have half my accounts I could be taking payouts on again, and I'm holding off because for one I want to build more buffer. I want to build more cushion. But then the other thing is for tax purposes. Let's go ahead and hold off on that extra taxable income. So we're slowly making our way up here. Let's head back to the 15-minute chart. We got this fair value gap. Excuse me. And if you go to the 1 hour, you can see that's just a big. So we got the fair value gap on the 1 hour right here. And we got this big push up. Let's see if we retrace back into it some. Pushed right through that new week opening gap. Yeah, I'll be curious to see. So, see, this is where, because we've drawn high enough. And we've drawn through a lot. So, this is where I pretty much am just going to watch the 1 minute chart. Hey, Richard. How's it going? Pretty much going to watch the 1 minute chart here. And if we get obvious, this is where I need obvious displacement short, right? Where it's just obvious for me to even consider a short. But like I said, typically when you take all-time highs, it just keeps going. And if you wanted to take a trade, I mean, we're up nearly 300 points. Not quite. There we go. New all-time highs. Popped through a little bit. Yeah, so you gotta. Oh man, I hate to hear that. I mean, it's part of the, it's part of the process, but hey, you got payout. That's good. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm actually having a great month, but I've only traded I think 4 days this month. 4 or 5, something like that, trading days. I mean, we've had, well, I guess we haven't had that many trading days. But yeah, doing good, having a good month. Just being very patient. This end of the year, all-time highs. Very patient. YM is drunk. Let's see. Yeah, YM, what are you doing here? You're falling out. Dang. It's the 1 minute on YM. Yeah. YM's like that lost drunk uncle. Oh, yeah. Look at this lag. Come on. I've never had lag like that. All right, OBS, you're gone. You're gone tomorrow. Actually, my new camera should be in today, so actually getting a nice... My webcam's a 4K, but it's not found out. Even though it's a 4K, it's still a webcam, so... Got an actual nice streaming camera. All right, making all-time highs. Like I said, for me too short, this thing's got to just like displace. But by the time it displaces, we have so many 15-minute fair value gaps where it could just, I mean, it could just displace right down to one of them and then continue up. Yeah, and 4K is actually, for most streamers, from what I researched, they don't even stream in 4K. Yeah, 1080p at 60 frames is like one of the best rates to stream at. Like, very few people actually stream in 4K. But my camera that I'm getting will be able to stream in 4K and I think 30. Yeah, that's what I found. Like, I was researching a lot, and there's been no real reason to stream in 4K. However, I will be. So hopefully I can get that all set up today, so that way tomorrow I can stream it. I think it'll be 30 frames is what it said, but it'll be 4K at 30 frames. But 4K doesn't, I found out also 40, yeah, most people are watching on a phone or a smaller screen or off to the side, something like that. But what I found is 4K, just because it's 4K, doesn't mean nothing. It doesn't mean crap. I found this guy that's like this camera like guru, and he was showing how he put up next side by side 4K and 720, and the 720 blew it out of the water because of the actual camera and then the settings. So just because it says 4K doesn't mean it's great quality. Yeah, look, I just had a little thing pop up here on my trading view that said connection quality wasn't great. I don't know. Anybody else having issues with trading view today? Like lagging or connection or anything? I really hope this OBS studio is not, because that's the only common denominator I have right now. I haven't had any issues until I'm running OBS. And that's why I didn't run OBS before and always use Streamlabs. Oh, okay. Oh, I see, Shadow. Yeah. All right, we're making new all-time highs. And a lot of times what happens, too, is it'll run up and then come back down and test the old all-time high. So right now, if I take... Let's see. I want to see something here. I want to mark out some deviations and see if price runs. and y'all have seen a few times on my stream last time that once it takes all-time high, there's some deviations you could set that price will likely go to. So right here, I have the 0.5. And what I did is I measured this move here, since this was our last high, right? On the 15-minute chart here, our last swing high, swing low. I took this range right here. And I'm measuring deviations up just to have some type of targets. I normally like measuring out the dealing range of the day or the morning, but we're still going up. Like, we haven't had any pullback. There's no real dealing range of the day. It's just straight up. So I took this one, and here's this 0.5 right there, 733.75. So I'm going to go to the 1 hour. I'm sorry, the 1 minute. Yeah, I'll probably do that drawing here in about 10, 15 minutes. And we got another 3 minutes to get another fair value gap on the 15. Inverted this one. And I'm only going to leave this here for a second. Like, I hate how cluttered it's making my charts. But you see how it's inverting each one and leaving a new one. Inverting, leaving a new one. Inverting, and potentially in the next 2 minutes leaving a new one. Because they left new ones, I'm going to get rid of these so we can see better for now. And just know there's inversions there. So let's see if that one happens. And if you look at the 5, so what I would want to see, really, because the first sign to a market structure shift is when it immediately inverts a fair value gap. First potential sign. So we made this all-time high. We have this fair value gap on the 1 minute right here, right? Right here. So I'd want to see now, look at that delay. So I want to see now if this holds just like this and continues up, or if it immediately inverts it. But like I said, when we get around that all-time high, you got to be careful that you don't get trapped as a seller, because it could invert some fair value gaps. It could take a few swing lows, and make it look like a market structure shift, but it'd just be a deeper retracement to continue up. See, this thing held perfectly. Hit the middle. Hit the middle. Look where the body's closed. Right? Body's closed. Body opened. Come up. Hitting that 0.5. Why is this thing here? Gapped up. And what it's doing, though... Thanks, Jonathan. Yeah, I just like to kind of talk out loud. I know, like, some people stream. I've watched a lot of streamers, and everybody has their own thing. Like, what I like to focus on is because this is what I do when I'm reading the market and I'm just watching by myself. And I just kind of like to talk out loud of what I'm seeing and reading, because I'm constantly reading, constantly looking, constantly seeing. And I mean, that's what I feel like you got to do. But today, like, and I know, Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. I thought I saw something. But anyways, yeah, like today, I've already got my mind set. I'm likely not going to trade. And you got to do that. Like today is not, I don't take a trade every single day. I try to. Like I don't want to not trade, but that's also what's allowed me to hold the exact same PA accounts since March. And I've always said that everywhere. I don't get impressed by high P&Ls. Yeah, squirrel. I don't get it. Like you see people on social media post, they made X amount, and I get it. People do that because it gets clicks, it gets likes, it gets things, right? But that doesn't impress me. That stopped impressing me a long time ago. What impresses me is consistency. Like, cool, can you do that every day? Or can you do that, be green every week or be green every month or have the same PAs or same not blow accounts for many months at a time? So that's to me, that's what's impressive. And I've always said that. All right. You feel attacked, Chris? I mean, hey, if the shoe fits. I'm just kidding. I felt that, Shadow. I felt that coming through the speakers, all caps. Yeah, so you gotta know though, like if you want to be in the game, if you're not playing the prop firm payout game of get a payout, blowout, like if you're trying to stay in for a long time, and I copy my live account, so like I can't blow my live account. You blow a live account, there's no reset button. So like you got to come in every day with, in my opinion, clear set of rules, clear time frame of like when you're going to trade, when you're going to call it, how many trades you're going to take. Like you got to have a game plan. Like you got to have a game plan. You got to know it coming in. And if it doesn't fit your game plan, don't take a trade. Like I know it's easier said than done, but that's part of the process. And once you get past that and get to that under control, to me, that's the hardest part. So the rest is easy. Like, oh, let me back test this strategy and then forward test it, things like that. That's the easy part. Yeah, let's see. We hit that 0.5. I mean, look at that. You can't make this stuff up. That doesn't mean it's going to not go any further, but look how the body's closed right there, opened right here. And I want to see now, let's see, we don't have anything there, but let's see if we invert this fair value gap right here. Now, again, I need obvious displacement. I can't just say we've inverted this, we're taking this swing low, we might leave a fair value gap. I need obvious displacement before I short anything. Go to the 15-minute. We did get that fair value gap here. So it's a little bitty fair value gap right there, but that doesn't mean nothing to me. Not yet. Because we need obvious displacement. We have this 15-minute because what could happen is we could just trade right back down to here, right back down to this area, and continue up. All right. And if we go to the 5 minute, also I look at the 5 minute. I don't look at the 5 minute much except for also inverting fair value gaps. So we have this one as well right here, this 5 minute. And I want to see if that gets inverted or not. Because once it starts inverting a 1 minute and then it inverts a 5 minute, then it's like, all right, now is it going to start dropping and trying to invert 15-minute ones, or is it going to just reach into a 15-minute and continue? That's what I'm looking for. So go back to the 1 minute. $10.21. So let's see. Yeah, they got there's the crude oil inventory news at 10:30, but that really never messes with NQ. But yeah, it's good to know just in case if it does have some type of reaction. We have a little fair value gap right here as well. And that's another key, like another little nugget, is that price never does nothing for no reason. Basically, price doesn't just stop in the middle of nowhere. So that's the thing. If you see price going somewhere and it just stops, like maybe you're missing something. Like maybe you're missing, I don't know. You're not there yet on marking everything out like 100%. And then you see price just stop somewhere and go away. It's like, okay, why did it stop there? That's what I'm always looking for as well. Why did price just stop there? If it's not obvious, like let's say I didn't see that little fair value gap and price stopped right there and it just starts going up. Like, well, why did it stop there? I got to look. I got to find out. If I don't see anything on the 1 minute, I go to the 5 minute, the 15 minute, the 1 hour. Like there's a reason. There's always a reason. Always a reason why price stops. Doesn't stop in the middle of nowhere for no reason. Oh, you're talking about my background? Yeah. Watching it on the recordings, I can see what you mean. Because I think the wicks are not as visible. I wonder if I can make the wicks thicker. Oh, the light in my face. Yeah, no. That was... So Streamlabs, I actually don't even have a light on me. That's my monitors. But that's also why with my new camera, I'm going to be able to adjust all that stuff because I struggled with that a lot. And then with this OBS, it changed my camera setting a little bit and I was messing with it. And I'm like, this is annoying. So yeah. And I had it at one time. I had it really good, but it just, yeah, I know what you mean. I see it sometimes. It's like the white is just, nah. That's why I'm going to a full-blown like pro setup. Like, got a little carried away with all the stuff I ordered. But also because I'm going to be recording those videos for my course as well soon, and I really need great quality for it. When I say course, for those of you that don't know, it's not training. I mean, it's not teaching. I'm not teaching how to trade. It's for discipline and psychology. Everybody needs that. And, you know, Richard is probably not going to, because I have multiple monitors and all my monitors have that same, actually it should change. Well, maybe it'll change all of them. Let's see. I forget how to canvas. Here we go. Background. It's not changing all of them. Or maybe I have to save first. Ooh, look at that. Let me see. Let me see if I've saved, if it shows it on the other ones. It's throwing me off. It does get brighter. Yeah, exactly. See? Like right here. If you didn't have that marked, this is what you got to do. Say, whoa, man, it just stopped right there. Why did it stop right there? I'm telling you, it never stops for no reason. Never, ever, ever. So that's when you can look left. Always look left. Why did it stop? Oh, there's a fair value gap right there. Fair value gap. Easy. That's why it stopped. It inverted this one. So let's see if it uses it as an inversion. That's another thing. That's another. So first off, you want to see if it inverts it. That's the first sign, right? And then does it displace? Well, we don't have any displacement, but it came back down. It actually inverted this one as well. Wait, what is this one? Oh, that's the 5 minute. And we didn't quite invert that 5 minute. Close. Here, let me pull it out here so we can see that it's a 5 minute. Okay, so didn't quite invert the 5 minute. Bounced off this 1 minute. Now I want to see if does this inversion act as an inversion. And what you want to see is it respect the middle of it. Like I don't want to see the bar close above the middle. It may reach up in the upper half. Preferably, you don't even want this. You want it to just touch like this bar did right here. Preferably, you want this wick to touch the middle, kiss it, and then drop if it's going to shift in structure. You can still have it reach up as long as the body, you want the body to close below the lower half. Now check this out. Let's zoom in because I want to point this out right here. Look at this wick right here on this indecisive candle. The midpoint, mean threshold, traded right up, couldn't reach almost. And see now the body, look where the body closed. Body closed right at the midpoint. Opened a little bit higher, and now it's dropping. So we really might have a market structure shift here soon. But need to close through this. Need to have obvious displacement and a fair value gap. But this sign, this is where I look for signs. Inverted, use the inversion as an inversion. And it looks like we are going to invert this 5 minute as well. It's not great displacement. See, when you zoom out, it's not really good displacement yet. But we do have a shift in structure. So we got to see how it reacts when it hits this 15-minute fair value gap. Because, like I said, it very well could trade right here and continue up. And just be a deeper retracement. Because the 1 minute is actually the only time frame that we have a shift in structure right now. Which it usually happens that way. It's 1 minute first and then the others. So we had this swing low right here, John. And that's my first sign since we took this swing low and then the inversion, or, you know, the fair value gaps and inverting. And then now that we took this swing low and displaced through, actually right there could be a short. And I like it because, yeah, I'm going to short this right here because, well, in a second, I got to see first. That's a 5 minute inversion. I want to see if this holds first. I'm not going to go short yet. But I want to see if this holds first. Right here. And then I'll just target 96. That's not a big target. I'd probably target the middle of this 15-minute fair value gap. But I need to see if this holds first. We're kissing. See, this is what I was talking about. kissing this inversion again. Retesting that old all-time high. So I got to see if this holds first. And my stop will just be right there above that swing high. Right here, if I do short this, it'll be kind of a small stop, so a low risk. But I got to wait. I want to see it rebalance this first before I do consider it. And I'm not going to target very much either. See, we inverted it and we immediately traded back up on this one. We should drop down to at least this area right here. All right, I'm going short. My stop is going to be right above this swing high. So it's not going to be a very big stop.
Order submitted.
It shouldn't come back up. It might. Like, this is not because we don't have obvious displacement, like as obvious as I want. So this is not the safest trade. But I'm going to target, because if we take this swing high, then I want out. But I'm going to just target right down here. Let's see. Right here, this high, this high of this fair value gap. This really might not work out. The structure is there, but we didn't have the displacement I wanted. So we'll see. I'm in at 97. So I'm going to target. What is this? I'm going to target the middle of this 15-minute fair value gap. Like I said, though, it's not the best because we didn't have the displacement I wanted. I'm just going to try to get this little move right back to here because I think price can go. If we hit, and once we hit this 15-minute, if we do come down here and hit this 15-minute fair value gap, then I'll probably go to break even pretty quick because it could just bounce right off of here and continue up. It's just the structure, this 1-minute structure. This is where I can catch a little scalp in here, in a sense. If we can drop, we just didn't get that displacement that I really wanted, that obvious displacement. But we got close down here. We did have a market structure shift, and we have reasons where it shouldn't go above this swing right here. And if it does, I want out. So we'll see. It's a very small risk, though, for me. Yeah. See, that one didn't work out. And this is why it's very
order canceled.
Risky to short right there. And why you need the obvious displacement. So didn't get the obvious displacement. So that's one, like in my trading journal, I will basically mark that as like a C trade or something, because I didn't get that obvious displacement I wanted. This is just exactly what I said, exactly what I was talking about. So where you have a deeper retracement, right? You got this swing low here, higher high, right? And this is just a deeper retracement to continue up. And this is where you can get caught. And I got caught. I took this low risk because I had a low risk here as far as stop wise to try to short here and just take it right down to this area. Didn't work out. That's the risk. 1 second. Let me make sure all my accounts are, yeah, they are closed. But it's 10:35. So let me do that drawing real quick. Where are you? Here we go. Did everybody get on the drawing? Did y'all enter in? Let me pull that list here real quick. That the link that's pasted, that's pinned in the chat right here. I don't know if you can see it. Click that and enter your name and email. Should be pinned. Here, let me put it here again. Yeah, I'll give it a few minutes to let everybody do that. See, and today, like, that wasn't a great trade. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that was being, I guess you could say, I want to say greedy, but it was me just trying to take a scalp of this small move right here. But, let me see. Okay. And you see that P&L right there? I have that list. That's all 20 of my accounts. So basically, I lost about $300 per account, roughly. Some a little less, some a little more. So that's nothing. Like my wins are usually double that. And so whenever you have money management, losses don't mean anything. So like for me, if I get say 3 losses in a row, 3 losing days in a row, then I start saying, all right, what am I doing wrong here? Because typically I hardly ever go back-to-back losing days. And then every now and then I will, like in these last 8 months that I've been with these same accounts, I've had, I went back and looked, back-to-back losses, I've had 4 in that time frame. And then 3 losses in a row, I've had it twice. So like at that point, that's when I'm like, all right, what am I doing wrong? Am I reading wrong? Are the markets bad? Like, what am I doing? And you gotta, that's why it's super, super important to journal and chart review. Like you have to do that. I can't stress that enough. All right, did everybody get in? See, I'm gonna pull the list here. All right, cool. Let's see. Have you done any videos on TradingView and your transition from Ninja? I need to move over as well. Still using Apex charts, which isn't helpful. Yeah, it's you can't really do ICT on trade ICT on Apex charts. What I did for moving over, I haven't done an actual video on like what I don't think what I specifically did. I'm about to do the giveaway now, SK Trades. Did you get in on the, did you enter the drawing? I can give it another second if you need to enter in. Just hit the link that's pinned. But I didn't do a specific, I guess, video on how I did it. I don't think I did talk about it on one of my videos. Okay, cool. I did talk about it on one of my videos, but basically I used both for a time, for a little while. I still used the Apex sniper system, but then watched and then just slowly kind of like transitioned over. All right. Let's see. I'm just getting rid of some information here before before I show anything, making sure nobody's information is there. Real quick. Because I know nobody wants their info being shown as far as email address. All right. All right, looks like we got about 31 people. One second, I'm almost ready. I removed last names, but then I was like, well, what if there's two of the same names? All right. Let's do this. We have $32 entries here. $31 actually. And then let's pull this guy over. Our random number generator. And we have 1 through 31. Actually, 2 through 32. All right. So I'm going to hit generate here. See who our lucky winner is. And generate. 32. Hey, Sharif. Look at that. Got your free eval you can use. And these evals, you can use it for any size account you want. Congrats, Sharif. Congrats there. All right. You'll get an email, by the way. That's why I needed email addresses. You'll get an email with the code, with your code, and you'll just like you normally sign up, you'll use that as a coupon code at apextraderfunding.com, and you'll get your free account. All right. I'm going to end the stream there. Again, I'm going to do one. I'll be on tomorrow and Friday, and I'll do a giveaway each of those days as well. So congrats on that. And thanks everybody for joining. And as always, trade well. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Take care.
Yeah.